Alex here, and I'm going to give my thoughts on the first half of E3 as it's aired so far. The first day, we basically just had Electronic Arts, and for the most part, it was kind of a shitty show. It was sort of a bit on the mobile focused end, and they tried to talk about e-gaming, and then they tried to talk about how they were apologizing for the disaster that they've had with loot boxes and just how Star Wars has been handled, and it's just been sort of, it was just sort of shitty. It was really wasn't that good. They did redeem themselves a little bit at the end with showing off more of BioWare's Anthem, but that being said, I want to be able to play Anthem. I don't want to be told things and just show the very scripted trailers that they had. There wasn't as much of that canned, pre-recorded dialogue, so that was a little better. And it clearly showed that the game is progressing and it's going to be ready for launch next February, which is, I believe, maybe a year to the date it passed when it's been pushed before. So that looks like it's going to be fun, but they don't really have anything else that interests me at all that I can think of. So it was basically sports, esports, and then that mobile Command and Conquer game, which is like, whatever. So moving on to the next day, we had the Xbox, which had a pretty good show overall, in my opinion. They touted all those exclusives that they were talking about, with 50 exclusives and blah, 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 premieres, blah, blah, blah. What it came down to was they showed off a lot of indie titles that are either console exclusive or exclusive to the system, which looked interesting. A new Ori game. They ended up having, they showed some stuff from Square that's not really exclusive. They just had world premieres. They showed off a new Halo Infinite, which they haven't said if it's Halo 6 or is it a prequel? Is it an online MMO? What is it? They're not really showing off everything, but it looks to be that they're focusing on a direction that's similar to EA, where a lot of things are going to have to be online to play. And that's something they tried to push a few years ago, and people weren't really ready to adopt it. I still don't think people are when it comes to rural areas. In the city, you're fine. Your dedicated internet speeds are fine, but it might be hard to get a lot of people that don't have a really good internet connection to be always connected, especially for games where they're going to have a single-player focus. They didn't really have much else until near the very end of the show when they really went out with a bang, showing off the next Gears title. So they revealed new Gears, a spin-off prequel that was I'm assuming it's sort of like a Halo Wars type game, and that was kind of cool, but I don't know, I haven't been super wowed yet. They showed off a lot of titles that we were sort of expecting to see, and I think they announced Battletoads, which was kind of neat. That's something new that wasn't really expected, but again, no footage of it, just the title screen that popped up. The next show was Bethesda. Bethesda opened with a pretty funny quip making fun of Walmart Walmart Canada obviously leaked information on Rage early because they're Walmart and they do whatever they want. But overall, the show was pretty solid, showing off the teaser at the very, very end for the new Elder Scrolls is cool, but I've not been an Elder Scrolls fan. What I'm more interested in is their new IP. Where it looks like it's space-based. There hasn't been much released except the title screen popped up. So I'm hoping to see more over the next year or so. Actually, going back, I forgot. Microsoft is the one that premiered the Cyberpunk game at the very end when they had that whole hacking montage. And that looks really fun. That's something I've been waiting for a while, and it looks like it's really fleshed out and it's going to be amazing, but no date on it. So is that a game that comes out next year? Is it a next-gen console thing? Because Microsoft had come out and said they're working on their next system already. So that means about a year away before they announce it. And Devolver Digital aired shortly after Bethesda, I think by a few minutes, but then it was hard to find because they didn't post their live stream on YouTube. It was on Twitch. So you had to log in on Twitch, get on there, and then by the time I was on there, about half of it was done. So I'm going to have to go back and watch the beginning. But I think they only showed off 3 games or so. And the more fun thing to watch with them is actually their continuity between years, where it's a canned fake, if you want, fake conference where there's just reactions from actors in the audience or or canned public domain reaction video with actors on the stage, and they're continuing the plot from last year, and they move forward. It's to be continued next year, so that's actually more fun for me to watch than maybe even the games they were presenting. Today, so far, I've seen the Square Enix one, which was underwhelming. There was no Final Fantasy VII remake. There was just the same trailer we already saw of Kingdom Hearts. Maybe a couple scenes that were a little different in there, but I don't remember much from it being different. They showed off a couple new titles. Babylon's Fall didn't show any gameplay. That's a next year game, but it's made by Platinum Studios, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy and hectic, as long as it's their A team. And I was expecting a lot more. We got Octopath coming out, so that's already, ready to come out in a month. So they didn't really need to show that except saying, hey, it's coming out. And there wasn't really anything else. Like, the Tomb Raider game looks awesome. Just Cause 4 looks pretty cool. But they've really got 3 games they're banking on this year outside of Octopath, which is going to sell probably pretty well. I'm getting it day one. I've got the Wayfarer's edition. That's the one that comes with all the little goodies. And that's going to be one that probably stays in my collection forever because that game looks so amazing. That's my most anticipated game of last year. And as we're waiting here, we're waiting for Ubisoft to start. I'll probably do another one of these videos as soon as Ubisoft, the PC, and Sony, and then maybe Nintendo's is over. And then I'll upload the second half and we'll see what my thoughts were. But so far, this is, if I recall correctly, better than last year's show. But I don't know by how much. So we'll wait to see with what Ubisoft has to show and all the other companies. So I'll be back, I guess, in a couple days.